Hey everyone, welcome to Introduction to Performance Testing session. So when we're talking about the performance testing, there are different types of performance testing which is involved. One is load testing, stress testing, soak testing, spike and volume testing. So we may not do all types of testing on one application. It is based on the usability of the application and based on the user base of the application. So that is how we decide on doing what kind of performance is required for that particular application. So what are the steps when we talk about the steps of performance testing? What are all the steps involved for performance testing? So the first step is to identify the test environment. You need to identify which environment you are running. What is the servers which is being used? What is the monitoring tools which is being used? All these things you need to identify before even starting your performance test. So and the next step is to identify the performance metrics. What are all the metrics which is required? There are multiple dashboard tools which is there all you need to make sure whether all the dashboard tools are required. For example, Lighthouse, all these things are used in the front end of the web applications. So you need to understand what they're using in the front end and what is used in the back end of the application. So you should be able to understand what is CloudWatch, what is Datadog. These are some monitoring tools which is available. So all these things needs to be set up before even starting the performance test. And the next one is design and the plan of the performance testing. So what is the scenario? In which scenario is there a bottleneck? In which scenario user should be able to identify whether in which scenario user is able to perform the performance facing the performance defects. All these things needs to be identified. You should design the scenarios in such a way that it should be helpful in identifying the performance bottlenecks. So the next one is developing and executing your test. You should be able to develop your test based on the scenarios which you have derived, and the same thing can be implemented in all your testing tools. So, for example, if you're considering performance, there is wide variety of tools which is available. One is JMeter, and the other one is LoadRunner, NeoLoad. All these are basic tools which is available in market for performance testing. So, you can consider the tools based on the user base which you are targeting. Okay, once you have designed and developed and executed the test, the next one is your reporting. Analyze the report and retest. All these things comes under later part of the after the execution. Once you have the report, what are all the things which should be available in the report? That is very important. Your report should have response time, what is the request sent, what is the data sent, what is the response which you have received, where is the what is the actual 99th percentile variation, what is the 90th percentile variation in time response. All these things are basic things which you need to consider in your reporting. Okay, common problems which we face during the performance testing are bottlenecking. This is a common phrase which you hear when you say performance. What is bottlenecking? It is a scenario where there is a possibility of break, or there is a possibility where user is always facing a load time error or network error. There might be some looping or conditions which is running in the background or which is taking time. So identifying all those things comes under bottlenecking. And software configuration issues. When you're saying configuration issues, it may be with respect to the installed softwares on the servers, or it may be installed softwares along with the software one which you are using, and insufficient hardware resources. This is for this we can take this up in the DevOps. If you have insufficient hardware resources, you need to report it to the DevOps team, and then you need to get this resolved, and you need to say we need a sufficient space, sufficient capacity to handle these kind of resources, all these things, and poor scalability. So if you're doing a performance testing, you should be having a backup wherein if your one server fails, there should be already a server running which is ready to take the charge or the request of all the other users which is coming in. So if one of the server fails, there should be a backup and that should be running smoothly without any issues. There should be no failure in between. or even if the failure is there, the failure should be a negligible failure. It should not impact the users. That is how you achieve a good performance. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.